Hello, BigBrother161 here, and as you can see 23W12A is here. And I've been going through some characteristics that are new in the game, you know, like these armor trims, sniffers, these two flowers we got here. But since this Minecraft channel is a technical one, I've been going through this new element. The Calibrated Sculk sensor. As you saw in a previous video, this is the normal Sculk sensor. We've talked extensively about this one. But now we have this new element, which is pretty much the same with a small difference. So we take the normal Sculk sensor and some amethyst crystals, and the crafting recipe is this one. We obtain the calibrated one. You are going to see that the difference is this crystal that is in the middle and this amethyst color vein over here. So remember that the first one detects various types of vibrations, like walking, breaking a block, placing a block, or an item landing on the floor. So if we place one of these sensors behind the wall, and an item falls, it will detect the vibrations and open the door. For about 2 seconds, which for me is an excessively long delay time. But that's what we got. Now, what the calibrated one does is that it is designed only to detect certain frequencies of vibrations. So let's get to the next experiment. You will see that in the previous video about the Sculk sensor, we have this circuit, which will allow us to filter only one of the power levels depending on the frequency the Sculk sensor detects. And this has changed. If you go to the launcher here in patch notes, we're going to see all the Minecraft versions we have here. So we click on snapshots, and go to the new snapshot on 23W12A. And we go to this part where it says game events. Of course, this is a whole list about the new changes this snapshot brought. But given we're going to talk about the new Sculk sensor, the part we're interested in is this one. One of the changes is that the events that trigger some of the frequencies have been ordered again, in a way that they make sense now. For example, if we go to number 8, we will see that every food and drinks are placed in the same category. So if you remember the circuit, for example here it is calibrated for power 0, meaning that it only will detect the signals that give us a result power 1. In the list, this refers to any action that is traveling, for example here step, swim or flap. If we drop an item, we will see that the sensor detects it, but the circuit gives out no power. In this case I break the block, place the block, but the only thing that's going to trigger this circuit is walking. Now, this big circuit is no longer necessary unless you want to give an out to every other signal. But now with the new sensor, the only circuit we require is this one. Now, this sensor does pretty much the same as the old one, with the difference that in one of the sides, it has this amethyst colored vein. If we connect it with redstone, and somehow we configure a power level, for example 3, it is only going to detect vibrations that correspond to power 3. For example, if we come here to the list, it says item interact finish, projectile shoot, or instrument play. And again, we try walking, breaking a block, placing a block, and nothing. But if we try to shoot a projectile, and it detects the vibration. Now we play an instrument, for example a horn, and again it detects. Having these specific frequencies, we can come again to our circuit opening the door. For example, in this case, we have configured the sensor to detect only the specific vibrations. For example, if we see this circuit here, using the new sensor, this door is only going to open if we eat something or we drink something. For example, this bread, it opens it. And we drink water, and yep, it opens. Now you see here the circuit, it is calibrated towards power 8. A second weird thing we can do, for example, come here, we drink water, we can hear something activates, so it works. Or we eat bread, but the door still doesn't open. So I built a specific circuit if we eat something and we break a block at the same time. Now, why will you open a door this way? I don't know, you think about it. Another characteristic about the Sculk sensor is that it may be waterlogged. This way, when inside water, it will detect vibrations, but it will emit no sound. But the signal does go out, for example down here. Now we can do the same with the calibrated Sculk sensor, but the problem is it requires an inverse signal. So the only way is placing water, with the risk that the water sweeps away all the circuit. We have to make a hole just beside it so that the water flows towards this direction. A good change that could be made in the future towards Sculk sensors is so they could strongly power the adjacent blocks. This will be quite beneficial actually, but no. The only way this Sculk sensor is powered is soft power. And the only way we can take a signal out is beneath the block. This is because these blocks don't receive power the same way they would receive it if it were a repeater. For example, here if we give power to a repeater, we can see that the repeater gives power through the block. So remember that we just need to configure a power level and come to the list and choose a power level depending on what kind of vibrations we want it to trigger the sensor. And for the second part now, we can see that Mojang has added a new characteristic toward the sensor, and this involves the amethyst block. So before, when we wanted to transmit a wireless signal, we used to do this: a sensor, trapdoor, and each one of them spaced to an adequate distance, as you can see here. The problem with this one is that it used to transmit any vibration. But now we have this trick with the amethyst block. As you can see here, the sound propagates towards the amethyst block, but we'll do the next. For example, if we place a block, we're going to see this activate the circuit. And at the end, the out is 13. Power 13 is place a block, so technically what we are going to do with this amethyst block is that we're going to transmit a specific signal depending on the action we do. And we can do the same thing at the start. For example, this calibrated sensor. Here we had it calibrated at power 1. Let's remove the normal one. And you can see that power 1 is walking. And this propagates towards here. And at the end, the power received is 1. So let's remove this one. And we're going to see again if it works. So we place a calibrated sensor at the end and at the start. We walk, and not receiving here. Yes, power 1. So right now I don't see a direct application for this, but maybe the solution comes from a very active imagination. So let's see what this characteristic brings forward. So I'm going to continue to work with these sensors, and maybe we can talk about this in the next video. This has been Big Power 161, and remember, I will be